You know what's wild? We grow up believing that good people are supposed to be unbreakable, that if you're doing the right thing, if you're helping others, if you're trying your best, that life will somehow go easy on you. Spoiler alert, it does not. And today, we are talking about one of the most tragic examples of that lie. Welcome back, fellow mages, to the Grounded Mage, where we explore how myth and magic exist in everyday life. Today, we kick off Arc 2 with Harvey Dent, Gotham's White Knight, the Golden Boy, the guy who genuinely wanted to clean up a broken system. And somehow, he became Two-Face. Not because he was evil, but because he was exhausted. See, we tend to think of people who are well revered in the world as never having to go through burnout, and they have no problems at all. I mean, they're rich, right? How could they possibly be sad and tired? I'm here to tell you the bad news, in case you are hoping to one day be one of those rich people. They are more burnt out and more sad than us lower class people. And Harvey Dent is a prime example. Let's get into it. Let's rewind. Before the scars, before the coin, before the chaos, Harvey Dent was the good one, the charismatic district attorney paid to legally fight crime in the city of Gotham, an ally even to Batman and Commissioner Gordon. He had straight A energy, a moral compass on high. He was justice focused and idealistic. He believed systems could be fixed, that corruption could be defeated, that if he worked hard enough, people could change. And if you're listening right now and you're thinking, that sounds uncomfortably familiar, hi, welcome. You're among friends. Harvey is what psychologists call a high moral identity personality. In summary, this means that being good wasn't just something he did, it was who he was, even extending his moral altruistic nature to people outside of his in group, including strangers. And that's both beautiful and dangerous. Psychologist Eric Erickson talked about identity as something we build in layers: careers, values, relationships, passions, mistakes, and growth. Healthy people have multiple selves. Harvey, he had one. I am the good guy. That was it. So, what happens when the good guy fails? When the system doesn't change, when corruption fights back, when injustice just keeps winning? It doesn't just hurt, it threatens your existence. Because if you're not the good one anymore, then who are you? There's a psychological concept called moral injury. It's often studied in soldiers, doctors, and first responders. People who deeply believe in right and wrong are forced to witness, participate in, or fail to stop wrong. Moral injury isn't PTSD. It's shame, disillusionment, loss of meaning, and betrayal. Harvey didn't just lose his face, he lost his faith in the law, in fairness, in himself. For Harvey, being a DA meant that evil was punished and doing good was rewarded. In The Dark Knight, the Joker breaks Harvey Dent by kidnapping his partner Rachel and unaliving her in an explosion. Harvey, being his altruistic self, tried to save her, but all he got for his efforts was half of his face melted off. He's defeated by this, humiliated, and when the Joker visits him in the hospital, he takes advantage of the state that he's in and tells him that all of his failure is because Gotham is inherently corrupt and Batman and the cops have an inability to protect what's important. The Joker is able to convince Dent to abandon his legal principles and focus on taking revenge on the people who are really responsible for Rachel's death, which Dent eventually blamed on Commissioner Gordon. Every day he tried to be righteous in a crooked system, and eventually it broke him. Slowly, quietly, relentlessly. By the time the Joker finds him in the hospital bed, his faith in the system and in himself was already at its lowest point. It didn't take the Joker long to convince him to move to the dark side. Harvey was already tired from all of his efforts to do good. So why not try something else to get what he wanted? Here is something we're all at risk of. Harvey never processed his anger, he buried it. Psychologists call this emotional suppression. It's when you tell yourself, I can't be angry, I can't be bitter, I have to stay strong, I have to do better. So you push it down and down and down until one day it explodes. And we've all experienced this in some capacity. Maybe not on the level of constantly fighting crime in a city that just seems to double what you get rid of every day, but hey, even those little things that you let slide all the time can get exhausting too. Research from James Gross at Stanford shows that suppressed emotions don't go away. They increase stress, they raise cortisol, they impair judgment, and they weaken emotional regulation. Translation: ignored feelings become dangerous feelings. Two-Face wasn't born in acid. He was born in denial. All right. We can't talk about Harvey Dent if we don't talk about the coin. So, let's talk about it. It's actually something he had in his possession before he became Two-Face. Originally, it was a double-headed coin in pristine condition, and he would use it to interrogate criminals. In the comics, he would tell criminals, if it lands on heads, you're safe. If it lands on tails, you're not. And because the coin would always land on heads, criminals would often confess, thinking they had just narrowly escaped their death. Harvey used it to create his own luck in interrogation rooms. But once his moral compass flips, so does his reason for using the coin. Hi, sweet boy. After the accident, Dent's personality changes, and so does the coin. It's no longer in pristine condition. He was carrying it when the accident happened, so it became scarred and melted on one side, just like Dent himself. When he becomes Two-Face, the coin helps him decide if people live or don't. Why? Because choice hurts, and so does responsibility. Psychologists call this external locus of control. It's when you stop believing you have power over outcomes. Life decides, fate decides, luck decides. Not me. When people feel powerless for long enough, they give up agency. The coin wasn't random, it was an emotional burnout. It was Harvey saying, I'm done trying to be good, I'm done carrying this alone, let something else decide. Have you ever done that? Stayed in something toxic and said, well, I guess that's just my life. That's a coin flip. And Two-Face isn't just about justice, it's about splitting. There was always an underlying illness in Harvey, largely from growing up with an abusive father. And he was able to suppress this for a long time, channeling it into doing good as a DA. But then the accident happened and exposed it. His physical face was a reflection of who he was on the inside, too, someone with dissociative identity disorder. In short, he had a split personality. Our brains have a defense mechanism that divides things: good, bad, right, wrong, hero, villain, worthy, worthless. No gray, no nuance. Because nuance is exhausting. Harvey couldn't be complex anymore, so he became the opposite. One side good, one side bad. No middle. Cognitive therapists call this dichotomous thinking. It's common in depression, trauma, and burnout. When life feels overwhelming, the brain simplifies. And sometimes simplicity can become cruelty. All right, let's bring this home because most of us aren't fighting crime in Gotham. But if you are, please send me the journal updates. I'd love to know what's happening. We might not be fighting crime, but we are trying to be dependable, trying to be strong, trying to be the responsible one, trying to be the good friend, trying to be the fixer, trying to be the example. And nobody warns you that being the good one is emotionally expensive. You absorb everyone's mess. You mediate conflicts, you overfunction, you apologize first, and you self blame. And then one day, you're bitter, resentful, and disconnected. And then you start thinking, what happened to me? Where did I go? You didn't disappear, you just never rested. All right, let's use our imagination for a minute. And if you haven't used yours since you were like 6, just try. Imagine a different Harvey, a Harvey who learned that it's okay to be angry, it's okay to fail, it's okay to quit sometimes, it's okay to be imperfect, and it's okay to ask for help. A Harvey who went to therapy, who set boundaries, who cried, who said no, who rested. Does that Harvey become Two-Face? My gut tells me no. He just becomes human. And you can too. How do you think the story would be different if Harvey rested and confided in his allies instead of falling for the Joker's manipulation? Let me know in a comment down below. If you don't want to become Two-Face, I have 5 ways to help you out. Number 1, name your anger. Remember, anger is information. So just take a minute and ask yourself, what boundary was crossed here? 2, build multiple identities. You are not just your job, your role, or your productivity. You are layered. We are meant to be different people based on the situations and environments that we're put into. So protect that. 3, stop trying to impress everyone. You don't have to earn your worth. You already have it. It's everyone else's job to see that. You have done enough already. 4, choose agency. You always have more choice than you think. Even when it seems small, it matters. And 5, let yourself be seen. Find at least one person who knows your messy side and loves you anyway, because that is great medicine. Harvey Dent didn't fall because he was weak. He fell because he was alone, because he thought goodness meant silence, because he thought strength meant endurance, because he thought pain meant failure. It doesn't. It means you're alive. So if you're tired, if you're disillusioned, if you're angry at systems that failed you, you're not broken. You're human. And you're allowed to choose wholeness over perfection. Here are the questions I want to leave you with this week. Where in your life are you still flipping a coin, avoiding hard choices because you're afraid of disappointing someone or facing a conflict? And what part of yourself are you suppressing in order to stay the good one? What might happen if you finally let that part be seen? Let me know in a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Next week on the Grounded Mage, we are diving into the world of Greek mythology with one of the Furies. If you like this video, please let me know. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Until next week, fellow mages, make it make magic.